This episode was an emotional roller coaster, but baby, the ending made my heart drop and made my eyes tear up, and I cannot fathom. Ooh, child. Let's talk about it. What's up, ladies, gents, queens, kings, and commentators? It's the one and only You Can't Clone Me Queen, baby. Welcome to my channel, and as always, we are recapping or reviewing a movie or series that must be talked about. And in this video, we are recapping episode 5 of March on the CW. And before we dive in, y'all please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl channel. Okay. So last episode, we ended off with Martayvia and Cardavion having a conversation about their altercation that led them into some hot water with student code of conduct, which got them both kicked out the band. And like I said in my previous recap, I am so over this situation because it's so childish. And beyond that, I can tell that a lot of pieces from the story is missing, edited out, or never was filmed for the show. And that is based on the entire situation being one-sided in favor of Martayvia, while Cardavion was cut out of damn near the entire first half of the season, which I can't respect, because if we are going to get deep into a drama-filled storyline, allow us to hear it from, both sides, because clearly there is parts in Cardavion's story that they are trying to hide and keep out, and it was so obvious. Like, they didn't even do a good job at hiding it, because clearly production filmed her telling her side of the story, but we only got a quick snippet of it. So the real question is, why didn't we see all of it? Because there was plenty of times for it to be, plenty of times it could have been added, since we got a lot of unnecessary filler scenes in the first 4 episodes. That's all I'm saying. And I refuse to hear the excuse of, oh, the show is trying to stay positive and not dive into drama, so the focus on the show isn't lost. Because it's too late for that. Hell, y'all started it up, so you might as well see it through in full. I just feel like if you are going to have a story that involves 2 people, make sure we get all sides and not just the picture perfect pretty side that makes the show look good and don't give us these skimp flashback clips. So moving on in their conversation, Cardavion brought up how at the game he said something petty, but he didn't mean it in a petty way because it was directed towards Martayvia. And basically all he said was, I don't know who in the piccolo section. I don't know who in the piccolo section. That's it. Their whole altercation popped off from that. Because then Martayvia clearly got mad, and remember she told Tre in the beginning she was sick of Cardavion running her mouth. Well, child, that is what got her all fired up and wanting to fight. Now, even though Cardavion said she wasn't trying to be petty to Martayvia, we all know the real Cardavion. And to be honest, you were trying to be slightly petty. You just didn't think she was going to react the way that she did and be so, pressed about it. I get it. So after that whole spiel, Aaron asked Cardavion if she is trying to get back in the band. And I was so glad he asked her that, because I kept saying to myself that it doesn't seem like she is. Like, we haven't seen any effort unless they haven't been showing it, because like I've been saying, we only seen Cardavion once or twice, and now we are on the 5th episode, halfway through the season. And it's crazy that she was missing so much. So we never got a chance to hear her talk about getting back in the band or see her actually trying. Like, literally nothing. Only her passing out cookies, that's it. And that's not gonna cut it, okay? So it's like, are you really trying or you're not? And if you're not, that's fine. But if you are, then baby, I need you going for a force. But when Aaron asked her, she responded in a little settled way that was just like, yeah, I'm trying to get back in the band, but I don't know how it's gonna work with dog. And to be honest, I wasn't convinced. And then Aaron brought up how he's only asking because there is already issues within the section that Cardavion is in. Now the tea is, Kayla is Cardavion's section leader. And I'm not sure if y'all remember from the last episode, but Kayla is Martayvia's ex-girlfriend. So take that how you want to, but all I know is bits and pieces of this whole ordeal keeps coming out. But we still haven't gotten the full story of it. Now, if y'all need me over there in production, baby, just say that, because I gladly come in with input that would take this show to the next level for season 2, if y'all can renew it. So anyways, Aaron ended the talk by saying that clearly they can squash everything. So what is their plan moving forward with their relationship? And Martayvia was like, well, they were close friends. They hung out almost every day. Now see, wait a minute. Cardavion said y'all was using her for food now. Somebody lied. But I won't even go back to that since we are all moving forward. So Martayvia continued was like, they don't have to, you know, keep beefing anymore. And Cardavion said she don't have any issue with Martayvia and they can move forward being cordial and work on their friendship from there. Good. So moving on in the show, we get a little introduction scene with TT on the mic, who is basically the MC in the band announcement. And I'm just trying to figure out, why are we on episode 5 still getting introduced to new people? Baby, that's it. That is enough. Like, what happened to the other cast members we were introduced to and never heard from again? I'm just so confused. Do they not have enough going on in their life that y'all didn't want to show it, or what? Like, what happened to the twins? Where's my boy Jabari? What is my girl Ate at? And the Flagette girl that I like? Hell, what happened to Shelby and Jaylen? Where is their stories? It's like they all got pushed aside and forgotten about. This introduction of TT feels like a filler. Just how I felt like the introduction of the associate band director was a filler. But don't get me wrong. I am glad that TT is getting her TV time because she reminds me so much of myself and how I used to be at FAMU. Just a big, bubbly personality. I was that girl. I was that girl that was there to hype up everything from the students, the band, the players, and whoever or whatever else. And y'all gonna know it was me. Then what? What's the problem? I just love putting out that type of energy and love seeing other people put it out as well. And I can tell TT go hard, and she's just, you know, so positive and very, very welcoming because everybody had good things to say about her. So after being introduced to TT, we move on to Kaylan talking to Ms.Shawn about graduation and how she plans to go to grad school afterwards. And Ms.Shawn was like, oh, so you're delaying being an adult a bit longer. And I thought that was so funny because that is what most students do after undergrad when they don't have a clear plan on what they want to do with their life after graduation. So they opt in for more school time. Now, of course, some majors require it, but the ones that don't still have students going to get their masters. And let me be clear, getting more education is a beautiful thing, but them adding on them loans isn't. But for the ones that don't need to get their masters, will go to grad school because they are not ready for the real world. So it was so funny to hear Ms.Shawn call it out. Now me, baby, I was not going to grad school. It wasn't even a thought whether I had my post-graduation life together or not. I was gonna figure it out. Your girl couldn't do no more school and I refused, so okay. But enough about me. Kaylan and Ms.Shawn started talking about who was going to be the next captain since Kayla was leaving. So Kaylan wanted to know what Ms.Shawn's expectations were and what exactly she was looking for in her next leader. And Ms.Shawn said, well, I don't know, because most of the girls on the team have great qualities, have great leadership skills. It's just some things they need to tweak. So when she do her one-on-ones with them, she's going to let them all know what they need to work on. I just wonder, what is their process of choosing the next captain? I know some teams have them create choreography and teach a squad for a day. I know some squads have girls do interviews, and some squads just have the old captain choose the new captain. So I'm just curious on how their process works. And I hope they show us. We got a few more episodes to go, so it will behoove them to show us, since this has been Kaylan's storyline the entire season. Right? So staying on the lines of moving on, graduating, and passing the torch like Kaylan, we get into a scene with Jaylen, Aaron, and Jesus talking about how they think, talking about who they think is some good candidates next in line for the drum major positions. So Jaylen was vouching for Nemo, which of course was expected because Nemo was like a brother and mentee to him. So that made sense. Plus, he's been guiding Nemo and telling him what he needed to do and what he needs to work on if he wants to get a spot. Then Aaron said that Tre was interested in that he may be a good candidate as well. But Aaron wasn't as confident vouching for Tre as Jaylen was for Nemo, and that said a lot. So then we got a confessional with Jaylen basically being asked if he would vouch for Tre, and Jaylen paused and then said no because Tre got too much going on. And I get what Jaylen was saying, and it is pretty much true. But at the end of the day, that's just your opinion, Jaylen. That don't mean he's not qualified or he can't do it just because you think he has too much going on. Then Aaron was like, well, Nemo need to work on his attitude because when he gets frustrated, he gets flustered, which they've been saying from the beginning of the season. And Nemo cannot do that as a leader, point blank, period. So after hearing the guys talk about that, we move on to a scene with Jaylen and Tre talking about the Texas A&M game. But more importantly, him seeing his car on fire as he was getting ready to leave for the game. But thank God he wasn't in the car when it happened. But he did say he got minor burns, and that probably came from him trying to pull things out of the car so they wouldn't burn up, i.e. his uniform that he got. So then Tre brought up how that made him want to cherish life because it's short, and that it also had him thinking about two of his close friends that passed away recently. And one of them was in a band and the other one was a football player. But they never said how they passed away on the show. Like, was it because of COVID, an accident? Like, what was it? And maybe it was because they didn't want, they wanted to respect the families of the two boys, which I understand. But I really wanted to know, so I did some digging. And the guy in the band, he was speaking about the guy Kevin. I could not find any information on his cause of death. But I did find Chris, and his cause was basically a car accident. And it just it was sad. Like, even like searching for it, I was like just so sad. It's sad. So, continuing the conversation, Jaylen was telling Tre how tough he is and how Tre has so much weight on his shoulders. So Tre said that he is going to have a tribute for both boys on campus to celebrate their life, which I love because that's important. If the family can see that, they were the two boys who loved on campus. Moving forward in the show, we get a scene with Kaylan talking to her sister, who also attends Prairie, and they are talking about how this is going to be the last time the family get together to watch Kaylan perform because this was her last home game. Then they started talking about how she had to adjust to being in a long distance relationship with her boyfriend and how they are about to be away from each other even longer because Kaylan is going to grad school. And I'm assuming she's going to stay at Prairie to get her master's. And the boyfriend, already started his life in Dallas, so it's going to be a challenge. But child, if y'all really love each other, that's going to work itself out. So I'm rooting for the two of them. I know the hardships of being in a long distance relationship all too well. So child, girl, good luck. So then we get into the band having practice. And the cast was talking about how it's been cold and raining and they have just been miserable practicing outside. They basically don't have no choice because there is still, CDC guidelines stating that they can't, too many of them can't be in the same room because they can risk getting sick. So they can't practice in their band hall just yet. And I just find that so funny, not really, that it's okay for them to practice in the cold while it's raining. Now call me crazy or cuckoo or slow, but can't they still get sick like that as well in the bad weather as they practicing? Or it's just like they can only get sick with COVID? Like, is that what it is? Okay, let me know. It's just so wild to me. And they just need to cut it out and let them kids go practice in the hall. Who want to practice in the cold and the rain? Especially when you don't have to. So then we get into a scene with Tre and Nemo doing some drum major workouts with Jaylen, Aaron, and Jesus. And I figured this was coming because when the three of them was talking in the beginning of the episode, they were saying that they need to test out, the boys' endurance, whoever want to be a drum major. Granted, it's probably more boys that want to be a drum major. We just seeing Tre and Nemo right now. And baby, they had them boys working out hard. Tre and Nemo was not prepared at all, which is crazy because they should have been preparing. Knowing being a drum major was something they really wanted to do and they knew it was hard. And now that it is time for them to show what they are really working with, they out here fumbling. I just couldn't believe it. Now I must say, Nemo was feeling it way more than Tre was, surprisingly. Because when the two of them did a whole little workout scene in the previous episode, Nemo was going harder than Tre. But clearly that was all for the production because this was the true test and he barely made it. So after that, Tre went to go see Doc to finally express his interest for a drum major position. And let me just say this now. I know this was filmed last year, so if they became drum majors, we would have seen it on social media or something by now. And baby, I did my social media lurking and I haven't seen neither one of them as drum majors. So I am curious if they made it or not. And I hope we get to see the process of them trying out, just how I want to see the process of the girl trying out for captain for the Black Foxes. But anyways, Dr. Z is asking Tre to give his reason on why he wants to be a drum major. And Tre was not giving Doc the answers you know, he was looking for. And he was telling Tre that he needs to cut it out with, you know, the fluff, rehearsed, safe answers that everyone gives. And I agree with y'all. Tre needed to dig deeper. And if I was Tre, I would have been like, listen, I've been going through hella hardships, but being in the band has always been my sanctuary. And the reason that I keep going, and I know people probably always talking about how I have so much going on in my life, and to be honest, I do, but being in a marching storm is what keeps me balanced in all aspects of my life. Baby, Tre had so much ammo to use to make him look like a standout candidate, but he was just not prepared as I would have liked him to be. So then Doc told him that it's crazy. In his answer, he never brought up how he has allowed himself to give up so much in his life just to be in a band, which is exactly what I was saying. Tre could have kept it real, like, Doc, to be honest, I have a child, I have a family, I could be putting all my energy into that, but you see me here every day at practice. I make sure I have an understanding with my family so I can be here and work with y'all, because that is the answer Doc was looking for. And Doc told him he knows he is worthy of the position because he has made sacrifices, but he needs to show it. And now I am questioning, is this something that Tre really wants for real? Because it's not giving what it's supposed to give. It's just not. Then they ended their meeting with Tre telling Doc that he wants to have a tribute for Kevin, and Doc thought it was a good idea. And Tre said there was times he wanted to give up in the band because beyond being close friends, I think Kevin was the section leader, because Tre did say he was under Kevin and learned a lot from him. So with Kevin passing away and not being there, it was hard for Tre. And Dr. Z told Tre he has been handling all these traumatic things very well on his own, but it's time for him to talk it out with someone else, a therapist, to make sure, you know, his mental is okay and that he keeps going, making sure he doesn't let the situation drain him completely. Like, you can be hurt, but you have to find a way to control it so you are not finding yourself sitting in it all alone. Now, these are all my words, but I'm sure this is, you know, where Doc was going with it. And Tre was sitting there crying, and my heart was just over here breaking for him. It was so sad. It was so sad. Whew. So moving on from the conversation, it was game day, and like I said, this is their last home game. I've been saying this the whole recap. But it's raining like crazy, and they are talking about how cold it is, and baby, they just look miserable. I just feel so bad for them. And it has me thinking about how the band really have to tolerate so much just to entertain us. And this is why I will always applaud them and go hard for them, because just how the football team play in rain, sleet, or snow, so does the band and dancers, which is why I have to say I really do appreciate band members. Like, I really do. Y'all work hard. So finally, the game was over, and the band was told to go sit in the band hall to get their food. And while everyone was waiting, we saw that Kaylan was in the office getting in trouble for being late, because apparently someone snitched on her. And I was mad for my girl, because that was petty. And like, who would do that to that girl during her last home game? Like, that's just evil. So she was fed up and she was ready to go. Baby, when my girl went back into the band hall, she was totally shocked. Hell, I was shocked with her because it was just so chaotic and a lot going on after she got in trouble, only for it to be a surprise proposal. And baby, when I say I was so excited for her, you would think I know her in real life. Like, girl, I'm excited for you. And boom, they ended the episode right there. So I couldn't even enjoy the moment with my girl fully. But I could tell she was thrilled, and she really had no clue. I cannot wait until the next episode to see, you know, everything in full. But anyways, with all of that being said, you already know what it is and how it goes down over here. Like this video and show your girl some love. Comment your thoughts on this episode of March. And last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the queen, baby. Bye.